morning everyone, and welcome to this video exploring what prayer is, how to get better at it, and ultimately how to get more from the time you spend with God. Now, the first thing to be aware of is that every prayer has three elements to it. These are known by Benedictines as prayer of the lips, prayer of the mind, and prayer of the heart. While each has its own distinct features, they are meant to work together to help us unpack and explore our spirituality. That said, most people's experience of prayer rarely goes beyond the first stage, so it's important we understand what that stage is and what the others are so that we can grow further as individuals. The first stage of prayer is prayer of the lips. Now, this stage forms the foundation of any prayer. Its role is to fix us in the present moment with our minds set on God. It's named after the lips because most forms of traditional prayer are oral. But it's very important to note that any mindful activity can fall under this bracket. Now, that can include painting, writing, reading, or even just breathing. This stage of prayer serves to direct our physical self towards God. But it's important to remember that we're not just physical beings. The Bible regularly refers to our lavav, sort of our inner self, that is made up of our soul and mind. But without also engaging these aspects of who we are in prayer, it's very easy to feel like we're just having a one-way conversation with little to no give back from God. This being the case, let's look at how our faith teaches we can grow in these areas of our life as well. So the second stage of prayer is prayer of the mind. It comes about naturally through practice of the first stage of prayer and is where our mind is completely at peace, completely still, completely empty. Now, it's at this point we want to really focus in on God, on the presence of God around us, and the words of the prayer that we're saying. Now, this is a lot easier said than done because our mind will wander a lot as we do it, and it will start to seek additional stimulus. So we'll start thinking about all manner of other items and things that will pull our attention away from the prayer that we're doing. Now, two excellent pieces of advice on how to deal with this come from St. Benedict and St. Jerome. St. Benedict teaches regular physical activity before praying for long periods of time. Now, this stimulates the body's rest and repair function and calms our mind amazingly, stopping those distractions from popping up as much. St. Jerome's advice is to focus first on the forms of prayer that you find more engaging than others. Every style of prayer has so much it can teach us about God, but different styles will definitely click easier with different people. While we shouldn't give up on a prayer because it's hard, it definitely helps to begin by investing your time in a prayer style that you find focuses you on God easier and causes you to be distracted less. Once this begins to be the case, you'll start to be able to intercept and counteract the random thoughts coming at you, and eventually we'll be able to trace them to their source, the heart. Now, bringing the heart into prayer is a challenging process. Cardinal Basil Hume, who was a Benedictine monk before becoming cardinal, would often remark how he would only pray for 1 minute every morning, but that took him at least 29 minutes to get there. The reason for this is something we call hardness of heart. This is our spiritual apathy that holds us back from truly connecting with God and other people. In the words of my spiritual director, Brother Christopher, to overcome hardness of heart, we must hurt for others. What he means by this is that when we feel the pain of others as if it were our own pain, and channel that empathy into prayer, we pull our heart out of that apathy and into communion with the mind and body. In this state of openness, you can then finally enter prayer of the heart. You find that you are much more than a brain or a body, but that you are deeply connected with the divine energies of God. And you can really sense Him dwelling within the depths of your heart. It's not something that's very easy to explain to others, but it's something that you will understand and recognize very easily. Now, this level of prayer comes as a gift of the Holy Spirit and is a foretaste of heaven. The experience is always transformative, as our heart is now open and active, and the encounter will allow us to see how we can make the greatest impact in the world. So where do we go from here? Well, the point of this video is to point out just how important it is to regularly be developing our prayer life. Just like with PE, it would be foolish just to learn the theory and never actually practice. So take time for yourself, explore what it truly means to be human.